Hey everybody, welcome to Harmon Garage. I'm Aaron, and as you just saw, I got old Sparky pulled back up here where we could work on him. I got company sent me over some lights to put in it and show off, and so we'll get to that here in a little bit. But before I get too far into the video, why I got it here and the fact that I haven't pulled it off yet, I'm going to show you guys that air cleaner that we're doing the giveaway on again. There it is right there. If you want to win it or try to win it, all you got to do is go to harmongarage.net. Link is in the description, and buy something. Every $1 you spend on the website is 1 entry towards winning the air cleaner. So if you buy a shirt for 20 bucks, then it's 20 entries towards winning the air cleaner. And you got a pretty good chance of winning if you order something. That's all I'm gonna say. So go ahead and get your orders put in if you want to, and you can win this air cleaner that I made. And if you don't want to, that's fine too. So no big deal. So today we're going to, or in this video, may not finish it today, probably won't, but in this video we're going to put in the front accessories, put in the starter, and get all the wiring right. Get battery cables, get a battery put in there. Just get everything wired up to where when I put those lights in, I can actually go in and pull the headlight switch and turn the lights on. So that's what we got going on. I got another 4.3 sitting over here off to the side that has all the accessory brackets and everything that we're gonna need on it. So we'll get those off and get them cleaned up, and then those will go on this motor. Gotta go pick up a brand new starter, brand new alternator, because I'm not gonna go through all this effort, do all this work, and put some old junk that I don't know if it works in here. So new starter, new alternator. We're gonna do all the wiring that needs to be done, get it all squared and all that stuff. And then we'll do the install on the headlights and we'll see how they look. All right. I went over, it's the next day now. I went over this morning to town and picked up starter and alternator that we're gonna need. And I'm getting ready to put those in. Another thing, since the last time I filmed on this, I did a little bit of professional body work here and got our inner fenders redone. So I'm gonna go ahead and get the starter put in, because I'm not gonna take you guys down there with me to put 2 bolts in. I'm gonna get down there, get the starter put in, and I'm going to try to find the wires to hook it up to, but get the starter put in and hooked up, and then we'll start grabbing accessories for the front of the motor, and we'll start getting them put on. So before I crawled under there to stick the starter in, before I crawled under there to stick the starter in, I grabbed the wiring to go to the starter so that I could route it and run it down to where I needed it. And that way when I got down there with the starter, I could go ahead and hook it up and be ready to go. Well, when I grabbed the wiring for the starter, it had a whole crap load of tape on it. So usually when there's a bunch of tape on something, it's not a good thing. So I pulled all the tape off, and here we have our exciter wire for our starter. Bunch of broken strands, bunch of bare spots. Down here on this end, it was twisted together and taped. This is one of our main power wires going to the starter, or going from the starter out to like the fuse box or something. Broken strands. At some point or another, this was twisted together and taped. So I'm not done yet. I just wanted to show you guys. I'm slowly working on this. Coming out of our loom here, I had to cut it off there. This is our exciter wire. I just cut it off there, ran a whole new piece down, put a brand new end on it, made it good. This was all bare coming out of our, I'm drawing a blank, I can't remember what these are called. They're like a resettable breaker, but anyways, or they're not a resettable, fusible link. Bam, there we go. coming out of our fusible link was all bare, and this piece of wire was that piece that I showed you that was bare and coming apart, so we replaced it right here, twisted together and taped. Here's another one twisted together and taped I haven't got to yet. Here's more bare wires coming out of fusible links. Here's just an open raw filled with oil butt connector. This, I'm gonna replace this whole piece of wire here too, probably, because the insulation's all beat up on it. But anyways, I just wanted to show you guys, when you're working on these older trucks, there's a 99% chance that somebody else has worked on them before, and not everybody does a good job. So I always try to fix stuff like this when I find it, no matter what, but especially since it's going to my 17-year-old nephew. I mean, that's all stuff shorting out, arcing, starting fires, who knows, especially with all that oil soaked in there. So I'm cleaning it real good, trying to get as much of the oil out as I can, making good connections everywhere that I can, sealing everything up where I can. And then when I get all that stuff fixed, I'm gonna go ahead and take the real heavy wide electrical tape like the factory used and try to rewrap that harness all the way down to the starter, close enough that I have enough room to run the connectors to the necessary posts. So I'm gonna go ahead and finish fixing up that wiring harness. I'm gonna get the starter put in and hooked up, then I'll bring you guys back and we'll keep on going. All right, well, now I can safely say that it's taken way longer than anticipated to get this wiring harness cleaned up, but I went through and pulled out, rather than just cutting unnecessary stuff off, I unrouted everything, got rid of everything for the glow plug solenoid, the glow plug controller, all the extra stuff that we don't need anymore. As far as this 4.3 goes, being carbureted, we need our amp gauge wire, our temp gauge wire, our oil pressure wire, our 12 volt ignition for the distributor, and then our exciter for the starter, and our normal power wires that go down to the starter. One's going to run up to the alternator, and then two more run to the fuse box, which powers the fuse box, which controls everything. I cut down everything in that harness, so all we had was those wires. So now, I don't know how well you guys are going to be able to see this. It's starting to get a little not sunny anymore, but this is my power wire and my gauge wire for my alternator, which we're going to put on tomorrow. I've got it all loomed up, taped up. There is my temp sensor. This comes back all loomed up, all taped up. Got my oil pressure sensor plugged in there. This is my wire here to go to my 12 volt ignition source to go to my distributor. And then this is all taped up, routed down, back and down to go to the starter. Every wire has been traced, every wire has been disconnected that we aren't using, and every wire that we are using has been completely stripped out of any loom or anything that it's been in. It's been cleaned, it's been repaired where it's necessary, it's been routed to fit better in the new configuration, and all retaped and covered and everything else, so there's not a bunch of excess wire hanging anywhere, and it's nice and clean and all that. So that's not all I did today. I had other stuff going on today. I didn't get here till late. I had my buddy that owns Marlboro Man stop by to drop off some parts and talk for a while. I had to go to another buddy's house to get a pigtail that I needed for this, and I ended up sitting over there talking for a while. You know how it goes. And just so anyways, all I really got done today was the wiring, but that's important because Now I can slap the accessories on, which is super simple. There's 2 brackets that bolt to the front of the motor. Slap them both on and they're done. So I can slap the accessories on, accessory brackets on, I can put the alternator on, I can put the starter on, and then all our wiring for the truck should be correct, the way it's supposed to be, because I didn't do anything with the body harness, so it should be the way it's supposed to be. And now I'm not worried about there being anything hot that shouldn't be or anything like that on the engine harness. So I'm gonna come in as soon as it's warm enough for me to function tomorrow morning. We're gonna get our battery box put back in, we're gonna get our accessories put on, we're gonna get our alternator and our starter put on. We're gonna get wires hooked up so we have power for all that. And then we're going to get to installing the headlights that were sent to me to put in this truck. And we're gonna finish off the headlights and we're gonna finish off the grill front end here. So see you in a few minutes. All right, it's the next day. I'm back with you guys, but it's not first thing in the morning. I came in first thing, well, I don't want to say first thing in the morning. As soon as the temperature hit 50, so about 10 o'clock, I came over to the shop, and it's like 2:45 in the afternoon now. And you might say, what the heck you been doing? Thought you were gonna work on this truck. Why haven't you been videoing anything for us? Well, I thought about it and I had to take all the accessory brackets and accessories and everything off of another motor I had sitting over there. I had to get underneath and put the starter in and run battery cable for that and all that jazz. And I was thinking to myself, I'm like, you know what, that's just stuff that I don't necessarily have to get done, but I want to get done because I'm doing this headlight install and I want to be able to have all the electronics hooked up so I can just go pull the headlight switch and they work. So I just decided to get it all done. I got all the front accessory brackets on, starters on, wires are hooked up, alternators in, wires are hooked up, power steering's pump is in, power steering hoses are hooked up to the box. I mean, I got everything on the front of the motor and everything electrical in the engine compartment except for the electric fans that we're gonna add, done. So here it is. And before you guys make a beeline for the comments and go, what the heck, Aaron, why didn't you clean up the brackets and stuff? Like I said, my nephew wants to work on this truck. He just doesn't have the means to build it, like get it going. So I'm doing the bare necessities and getting the motor in, getting everything hooked up, making it run. I'm gonna do a little bit of body work here and there and do some other stuff just to make it so it's decent right off the bat. But once he gets it and gets going, he can do inner fenders. He's already talking about wanting to put a different motor in it. So this motor's probably just temporary. So I'm not gonna put a lot of effort and time into it. And once again, I'm doing this for him. He's paying for the parts and stuff, but I'm just doing it for him. So I can't afford to spend a whole buttload of time on it. I mean, I'm putting time in it. I'm doing everything to the best of my ability, but I'm not going over the top and doing all the extra to make it the best it can be because I don't have time. And like I said, those brackets are something that he can work on without a lot of mechanical knowledge. If he wants to keep this motor in there, he can pull all those off and sit there and spend time cleaning them and painting them or whatever he wants to do with them, and that'll be something he can do. So they're in. I have to figure out if I can. I got the bracket in, I'm leaving all the other AC stuff in. If he decides later on, well, I didn't put the condenser back in, but it's probably junk anyways. If he decides later on he wants AC, then he can put AC in it and pretty much everything will be there. He'll just have to do a compressor and hoses and condenser, and I'd replace the dryer and stuff anyways, but whatever. So that's there, but the belt routing is set up for the AC compressor. So I don't know if I can, I'll have to see which way the belt turns, but I can probably, no I can't, there's not enough groove pulleys, because this is going to be a groove and then slick, slick, slick. I'll have to figure it out, but I'm going to have to figure out how to route the belt. That's something I'll do off camera and think about later. But what we're doing now in this video is we want to finish off our transformation on the front of the truck. I have a company that I'll tell you all about in a few minutes sent me some cool new headlights they got to put in here and try out. And we got to put our headlight buckets and our trim rings and we got to put everything in. So we're going to get some tools. We're going to start taking headlight doors and stuff back off. We're going to start getting our headlight buckets and all that stuff out here, and then I'll get right back with you guys and we'll keep going. Okay, now when we did the rest of the front end and replaced the core support and put the grill in and straightened everything up and this and that and whatever, we didn't put the headlights in because I needed headlight adjusters. And in the meantime, a company called Colight reached out to me and asked me if I would like a set of headlights to try on the truck. So I told them that that would be awesome, and I would take them and put them in the truck, tell you guys about them, check them out, see what we think, and let them know. So that's kind of why we've been waiting as long as we have. I ordered the adjusters. I was waiting on them to come. I was waiting on lights to come. Now everything's here, and we're going to go ahead and get to it. So installing the lights not necessarily have anything to do with installing the buckets, but since we're here and we're doing it, we might as well just do it all. So I'm going to get the headlight door back off here, and we got our buckets and our springs and our adjusters and all that stuff. We'll get them and get them put in, and then we'll check out these lights. I haven't even opened the box yet. I don't even know what they look like, so they might be cool. I'm sure they're cool. Alright, fix this grill, but we're not worrying about that right now. We got our wiring, we got our buckets, and I better check because there's actually different buckets for different. This is a passenger side bucket, so we don't need that one. This is a passenger side bucket, so I got both buckets that we don't need. That's good. Alright, now these are the right buckets. Now we might be able to make some progress actually. Alright. We got our adjusters here that we ordered in, and told you guys this before, but you may not have been watching, or you just may not know, but I always get the adjusters with the green on them. They're made by Alvico. They don't sponsor me at all. I just like to tell you guys when I find good stuff, and That's definitely good stuff. So, you just pop in from the back. Like so. Quick hands. And then alright, there's one. You can really, I don't want to say change the look of the front of one of these trucks, but you can really make a difference by putting all new adjusters in and changing out all the lights, and not necessarily with aftermarket ones, but just in general. Oh man, these things have been sitting, these screws have been in here for at least 25 years. Like, this truck sat for 25 years before I got it, and it's still sitting, honestly. We're working on it, trying to get it done, but there's like just enough surface rust on all this stuff to make life not that fun. I don't necessarily like doing it this way, bending it down like that, because after you do it a couple times it really weakens those buckets. But we're only doing it this once. We're going to put these awesome lights in, and they're never going to go bad, so they won't never have to be changed out again. So it won't matter. That being said though, I should kind of try to loosen that screw up, because it'd be a lot harder to do it. Be a lot harder to do it with it in the truck. I think I got it. Yeah. Maybe. Alright, we got that. It's way better. I prefer it that way. Put a couple more adjusters in. Go. And that one's in. Alright. We got our buckets in. For those of you that might be interested in seeing how this goes together, because you don't know, I'll go grab the other camera real quick and I'll show you. And then we'll get to these lights and see what we got here. All right, so we got an adjuster on top and an adjuster on the outside, and then we got our spring down here in the corner. So if you look up here, you see there's a slash and then a hole. You put that spring in sideways, turn it so it hooks in there, and then you hook it in here, and then your adjusters, you can see right there, they pull through the back and they got clips that stick out on both sides that lock them in. So there's 2 adjusters on each one and 2 springs on each one. So that's it. Not that bad. So we got them in. I'm going to bring the camera over here a little bit closer and we'll open up these lights, see what we got, and then we'll start putting them in. All right, so here we got the box from Colight, and see what's in here. Looks like it's pretty well packaged. Everything's got real nice foam around it, so that's always nice. We got I have to look and see what we got going on here. I'm not quite sure, because these look like adapters to plug into the original deals, but these plug into the original deals. So we may not need these. These may be for if you know, have a different vehicle that they don't fit, whatever. Wow, those are pretty neat looking. Peel this back. They got like a halo kind of lens in the middle. Not 100% sure yet. I'll figure it out and we'll know everything, but I think these are like marker lights from the picture that I saw. And then they just got a cool design. Made out of metal. Wiring's all sealed off and nice. These wires here are going to be for our little lights here. Is probably one for turn signal, one for parking light. We'll see what that is and hook it up. But overall, they're pretty cool looking and they're really nice looking quality. So we'll go ahead and get one of these set in here. Yeah, we're not going to need those adapters because it plugs right in. So this is just something I always do. Nobody tells you to do it or anything like that, but anytime I put any of these lights in where the connector doesn't go directly into the back of the light, like on here you got the direct, you know, it goes right on there, and then on these it goes into the wiring. I always take some tape and just tape around the 2 connectors to kind of seal them and hold them together. It's just, like I said, nobody says to do that or anything like that. It's just something I do. So we'll get that plugged in. Run a little tape around it too. Wires in there where we can get to them. Pretty easy install. I mean, so far, just take the old light bulb out, plug these new ones in, put it back on. Seems to be going good. Everything seems to fit good. Fits in there, holds it good. I can tell that my headlight's kind of pointed in, so I'm going to adjust it a little bit, and we'll adjust it more later, but right now I can just kind of tell it's pointed in, so that's better. Lower it down a little bit. Alright. Looks pretty good. Alright, before I install the next one, I'm just going to look through here real quick and see if they came with any installation instructions. Because if they did, we'll go over them. But if they didn't, then we won't. We got some wire extensions to hook up our parking light feature in there, I guess. And same thing, another set. I may have to look these up. I was kind of hoping they had some instructions in the box, because I don't know if like one of these extra wires is a turn signal and one's a ground, or if one's a turn signal and one's a parking light, or one's a turn signal and one's a ground, or one's a parking light and one's a ground. I don't really know, so I want to I'm probably going to take a break here in a second and look these up, because I want to see what it says. These do fit in here good. The rings, what it's doing is it's got this lip back here. I'll show you guys up close in a second, but it's got this lip back here, and that's sitting against our bucket. And then normally your ring would fit over the outside of the glass here, the front edge, and the light would come through it. These don't. This outer rib hits here, and the ring stays in front of the light, which is fine. It still reaches the it still reaches for the screws to go in and everything. It's just a little bit different setup from stock. So I just wanted to make you aware of that. So if you're watching this video to figure out how to install these lights, it just looks a little different, but it all works the same. So I'll go ahead and get this other one put in. Now we run into only two of our headlights are 3-pin. The others are only 2. So what we're going to do, because why not, we're going to hook this up, and then we're going to rewire our top headlight so that it's low beam and high beam. So then you'll have low beam and high beam on all 4 lights. So that will be nice and bright, and that'll be cool. So that's what we're going to do. Or the other thing we could do is we can put this in and we can just take our wires and hook them up and just plug in these two wires into our plug and move this one out of the way and tape it off, and then we'll just have high beam on top and we'll have our low and high on the bottom like we did before. I think that's what we're going to do, because I think having these super LED bright lights, we're going to it's going to be way too bright if you got all four on. I mean, not that bright's bad, but I don't want to blind anybody going down the road. So we'll just plug it in so it's just high beam like it should be, like it was from the factory on the truck, and that'll work fine. And that comes in handy that they gave us this adapter to use. So my connector in the truck here isn't in the greatest shape, so it's biting me, but alright guys, I'm going to give you a break for a minute. I got to fix this connector. I think I might have another one in there somewhere. I'm going to get the connector fixed. We'll get this light plugged in and then we'll pick up where we left off. Alright, I got that pigtail fixed. Really easy installation. These lights are pretty neat. Like I said, I showed you that they look a little different sitting in the rings, but other than that, they're a direct replacement for the 4x6 lights that were already there, and they literally went right in. You just plug them in. As far as the C10 goes, plug them into the factory harness and just go to it. I did have to put the adapter, like I said, in the low beam only light. What I did is I just plugged this into the light, and then this goes to your light power. Red goes to your light power and black's going to go to your ground. So now it'll only have high beam on the top light. It'll have high low beam on the bottom, because that's how I wanted to do it. Now if you want to have low beam on both or high and high beam on both, then you can wire the second one into the first one so that they both do everything. I don't want to do that because I don't think it needs it. I want to leave it the way it was from the factory, with just the high beam on top, low beam on the bottom. And yeah, so now we've got, I'll show you guys these. Like I said, they just pop right in there. Everything's nice and tight. Everything's screwed down the way it originally was. It all looks good, and nice easy installation. So we have our extra wires here to run our, like I said, I'm not sure if they're parking lights, turn signals, or both. But I'm gonna go ahead and put the lights in the other side, because I left the battery tray out for ease of access to the back of the lights while I install them. So I'm gonna go ahead and put those in real quick. I'll show you when I'm done. I'm gonna do the same thing that I did over there. And then once I get this side in, I'll throw the battery tray in. I'll put a battery in it, hook the battery up, and then we can do some testing and find out what those lights do. I'm pretty sure that they're just parking lights and the other ones are ground. But we're gonna double check and make sure before we wire anything in and find out different. All right, got you guys in here a lot closer. Not going to talk to you about it step by step like I did on that side. You already got the gist of how they're getting installed. So Just going to bring you guys in here a little bit closer so you can see a little bit more than you could on the other side. And we'll get these knocked out real quick. Same thing over here. Pop those in. That spring just broke in half, so I've got more. I'll just have to go get another one. That happens when the springs get old and sit for a long time and get rusty. Sometimes they just pop like that. So not everybody's gonna have a surplus of them sitting around. I just happen to, because I do these trucks all the time. But you can buy them if you need to. Okay, got them both installed. I'm going to put the extensions on those wires because once I put the battery box in here on this side, it's going to be hard to get to the back. So I'm just going to plug those extensions in and leave them lay out. I'm going to get the battery in, get it hooked up, and then we'll test for what those other wires do and get them installed. And then we'll check these lights out, see how they work. Alright, as you can see, I got the other side all buttoned up. I got my headlight doors put back in. I got my battery tray installed. I got a battery in this bad girl hooked up, and I left the parking lights on so you guys could see that we had power and stuff was working. So I did my little test that I wanted to do on these yellow and white wires that are here. And if you watch on this driver's side, I'm going to hit this white wire and it makes them white. Now if I come over and hit the yellow or the amber, it makes them amber. So maybe if I did more aftermarket lights, I would know that yellow wires are amber lights and white wires are white lights or something. I don't know. What I'm going to do, I'm going to take the amber lights and I'm going to plug them into the side marker over here so that when you turn the parking lights on, the amber lights come on. And then, so that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to tie them together and into that side marker light so that whenever you turn the parking lights on, they're on. Now, obviously, I didn't want to look like a total idiot, so I tested the lights before I turned the camera back on just to make sure. This truck, like I said, it sat for 25 years. I rewired most of it yesterday, and I just wanted to make sure stuff was working. So I pulled the headlight switch, I got nothing. So I had my power probe out anyways because I wanted to test those wires. So I start poking around and I had power where I was supposed to have power and I had ground where I was supposed to have ground, but I didn't have any lights. So I undid all my tape, undid all my connections, went back and checked the light, and you have to cross the wires. Like where the ground is on the truck is the opposite of, like, if you just plug the plugs in, you got to switch the power and the ground. So I did that. I switched the power and the ground, and I've got lights now. I'm going to go ahead and hook those little amber lights up to the parking lights real quick so I can show you guys those. And then I'm going to go home, have dinner, spend a little time with my family. And when it gets pitch black dark out here, I'm going to come back and show you what these headlights really do. So let me get these tied up or connected real quick. I'll bring you guys back. I'll show you what the lights look like right now. And then I'll come back later tonight when it's pitch black and can't see nothing. And we'll see what they do then. Alright, so I got the amber lights in the new headlights hooked up to the side marker lights. I'm going to go ahead and I'll turn the parking lights on so we can see what those do, and then we'll hit the headlights and see what we get there. Dang, that's pretty bright. You know you're parked when you got that much light on the front. Got both our side markers. I know you guys can't see the other one, but we got both our side markers, our directional signals and parking lights in the grill. And now we got all that extra LED parking light in the headlights. That's pretty wild. So I'm going to go turn the headlights, just the low beam headlights on so you guys can see those in the, I don't know what you want to call it. It's not daytime, but it's not dark yet. I guess dusk, whatever. Technically you can still hunt, so I guess it's still daytime. But anyways, I'll hit the low beams The multi-function switch in the truck isn't working, so I'm going to have to manually do the high beams with the power probe. But I'll do the low beams, then I'll show you the high beams, and then we'll wait till it gets dark and we'll do it all again. Alright, dang, that's a lot of light. There's our low beams. Just looking at the light, it doesn't really look like it's that much, but I mean, it's lighting up inside my shop where the lights are on, so it'll probably show a lot better at night, but that's kind of cool with the parking light in the headlight and the headlight still on. I like that, that's just pretty neat. I'm going to go hit the wires for the high beams and see what we got there. I can only bet they're going to be a lot brighter, and we'll do that, and yeah. I was trying to watch it in the screen on the camera, but I couldn't really see it. I could see that it gets brighter, but I'll have to watch later when I'm editing and see how bright it really gets. But I can tell you it lights stuff up that's not lit up without it. So I'm going to go ahead and turn all this off and wrap everything up, go home, have dinner, and wait for it to get dark. And then once it gets dark, we'll come back and see what it looks like. On another note, just real quick, I got all that wiring and everything redone. So, you know, of course, I had to hit the key and make sure the engine cranks over. And good news. We got engine cranking, and we got, you can hear the compression, so I'm happy with that. I knew this motor ran. I'm fairly good friends with the guy that I got it from, and he told me that he pulled it out, it was running. So I wasn't all that concerned with it, but being able to turn it over and knowing it turns free and you can hear the compression in it and all that, that makes me feel a lot better. So you guys hang tight. I'll see you in a little bit. All right. It's 0 dark 30 back at the shop. You can't see a whole lot of much of anything, but I pulled the truck back away from the shop a little bit further so there was more room for light to travel. So I'm going to radio works in this old thing. You guys probably can't even see me, but I'm gonna turn parking lights on and then I'll go. My wife and my 3-year-old came with me, and my 3-year-old knows how to honk the horn in my truck. So there's a ground that's acting funny here. All right, I'm gonna get this ready to show you guys the lights. There's a ground wire on that one light there it acted up on me a little bit earlier before I left. I just gotta make a better connection there, so I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna get everything set up and ready to show you the lights, and then we'll see what they do at night. All right, everything's about to go dark. All right, there we go. Now they're all working. Get a look at that. I'm gonna go grab the other camera, So when I go out to the truck and turn the headlights on, we can see it from both directions, and we'll see how it looks. Man, you can't really see it on the camera as much as you can in person, but just those dang parking lights are bright, like it's lighting up the truck and stuff over there. So here we go. There's headlights, and clearly they need to be adjusted, but that's bright. And they're covering, if you look over there, they're covering a lot of area. Like I said, they need to be adjusted. They're wow. I'm gonna go, I don't know if you can see me or not, but I'm gonna go get a screwdriver and do a little bit of adjusting on them so we can really see the pattern that they shine and whatnot. So I'll come back. The other camera's still shining on it. I'll come back and show you guys as soon as I get them adjusted. Okay, that's not great adjustment, but it's pretty good. And the camera's not really doing it any justice, but it's bright. It looks good, looks real good. So I got them pretty well adjusted, but they're not like shining directly at a wall or anything. So it's kind of tough, but they're nice and bright. And then we're gonna find our power probe over here. Like I said, there's the multi-function switch isn't working, so I got to do the brights manually. But there's the brights. So they're nice and bright too. So you can get it, see it with both cameras. I'm gonna close stuff up and talk to you about it a little bit more in a second. All right. I think they turned out pretty good, and I think the front end of Sparky's really coming together. It looks good. I like the parking lights and the headlights, and it lights up good. Lights up really good. So anyways, I wish I could take it down the road and kind of show what it does on the road, but truck doesn't run right now. So when I get it running and we do our first test drive in it, I'll do it at night so we can take video of what the lights look like and how well they work. But I can already tell just from experience with lights and light patterns and whatever that those are really good and they're nice and bright. So I want to thank Colight for reaching out to me, sending me the lights to try out. I'm very happy with them. I had a very good exchange with the employee there that I'm dealing with, and it was great. Okay, here's the main page of their website, and it shows, you know, a bunch of their different products and stuff that they have. And you can also go on Amazon and search for Colight, and they have anything you can think of. Light bars, fog lights, headlights, and so on. Okay. Here's the Amazon catalog for the specific lights that we put in the truck. I'll put the link to I'll put this link for this Amazon catalog in the description so you guys can see it. And got all the information and everything on there. Also, if you use this discount code right here at the bottom of the screen, you can get 20% off their products by using my code. So thanks again, Colight, for letting us review these lights for you. And it's gonna do it for this one. So thank you all so much for watching. If it wasn't for you guys, I wouldn't be able to do this. Y'all have a good one. We'll see you next time.